to the non-league adventure with me, GWFM, playing as ECFC in the Barclays Premier League. New season, and in some ways sort of like a new start. Same team of course, but quite a lot of transfers. But before we get into any of that, there's one thing I need to show you. Do you notice anything there? I am legend. Looking at the bottom left-hand corner-ish, middle left-hand corner. GW365 manager Derek Brooks, the backroom staff, the legends of the Eastleigh team. So for me, we've taken Eastleigh to as far as we can in their eyes. Now for me, we need to push on and maybe, you know, aim for Europe first, Europa League, something like that. Maybe try and win one of the cups, and then perhaps then move on to maybe a title challenge in the next 2 or 3 years, hopefully. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a big ask, but I'm very excited for what the future brings. So yeah, there is that. I'm going to show you my profile. This is me then, as you can see here. A lot of 20s, because I'm obviously awesome apparently, I don't know. But yeah, motivating was always on 20, that's the one thing I focused on. Everything else was set really low. Player knowledge has gone up to 20, youngster knowledge has gone up to 17, man management is 16, which I'm quite pleased with that one. That stat there, 16, I know it can be even higher. Mental, technical, tactical, defending, attacking, like, you know, second to none really. Like, I'm like the best coach in the world apparently. Not entirely sure why. Only other thing really I can really mention is 461 games played. I've won less than half of that actually, which is a bit of a shame, but it's to be expected when, if that includes the Curzon Ashton, we had the torrid times in the Vanarama National League with Curzon Ashton. So as you can see over this right hand side, my times there, 4 years at Curzon Ashton. I'm now going into my 5th season, I think it is. It might even be the 6th actually, I think it's the 5th though, with Eastleigh. Contracts at the minute, I got a massive pay increase. I was on like £2 a week, now on £17,250. Only for the 2 years though. I tried to get an extra year, but they wouldn't have done it for some reason. Get a couple of bonuses and whatever if we escape relegation. Just quickly, before we go to the transfers, I want to go into the league, the season preview. Transfer activity, you can see loads of stuff there. But this is the prediction for this season, and it's pretty much we've improved by one place. Last season we predicted to finish bottom, 5,000 to 1. Now we're 5,000 to 1 again, 19th. So apparently we're going to have it all to do once again. And we're going to need to focus on, you know, avoiding relegation. There's been a lot of money spent in this window, 522 million it seems. That's a hell of a lot of money. It's now time to show you what we've done with said money. So if you remember at the end of the last episode, not the last one, the one before, like the last game of the season, we got to our amounts, and basically we got given like 58 million or something like that. So I ain't even spent all of it yet. I've still got 11.9 million to spend. It does mean we're about 8 million in the red at the minute, but projected the next 3 years to be in like a position where we've got 55 million again, which I'm not going to complain. I'm not entirely sure how it works. If I just go into the transfer history, we have got some outs and we've got some ins. I will start with the outs. Ones of note, Adil Nabi has gone out on loan for the season. It's his last year of the contract, so we're probably not going to see him again unless he gets injured and ends up coming back early from loan. The Shop has departed us on a free transfer. He's gone to Wigan. They are now in League 2. We've got them in the Carling Cup, actually, the Capital One Cup. I don't know why I keep calling it the Carling Cup. Never mind. Martin Smith, he's departed us on a free transfer, freeing up the wages that he was taking up to go join Sunderland in the Premier League. In the Championship. Callum Saunders has gone on a free transfer just to clear spaces, mainly because of like we've got 4 strikers and we don't necessarily need him anymore. Thomas Stacey, he's moved on. Didn't progress as much as I would have liked. To say I got him for a free transfer, we've made 800 grand on him, so I'm pretty pleased with that deal. Wright, sadly, one of the originals, he's moved on. He's gone as far as he can, I think, with us. But every time he played that season, he cost us so many goals, and as a result, so many points. Andrew Powell, we say goodbye to him. We've had him a couple of years, you know, mainly on loan. We signed him on a free last season. Did a job for us. Let's just quickly highlight him because he was one of them. In fact, I might actually go back to Callum Saunders. But yeah, he had 5 years with us. Well, 4 years with us. In that time he created 64 goals, scored 25 in 142 appearances and played really well, to be fair to him. But the fact that now I've got he was worth the most money out of the two wingers that I had then deemed as backup, because I've got a new right winger I'm very excited about. I'll get to him shortly. Yeah, so he's departed. Callum Saunders, because he's one of the long-termers. 5 years he had with us. Started in Vanarama National League, scoring 7 goals in his first 13 appearances. And as you can see, the Premier League probably just a little bit too above his depth, dropping into the 6s, albeit it's literally 0.01 off of 7. Very pleased with what he did for us though, and I've told all these players they're welcome back anytime because I'm a nice guy. Well, so I like to think. The other player I'll just highlight is Adel Nabi, who of course he started in the Vanarama National League for us, and also did very, very well. But again, last season in the Premier League, I know he scored a couple of goals in the cup competitions, but 2 goals and 1 assist in 28 appearances, 5 starts, 23 sub appearances, and a 6.87 average rating. It's not the best, and it goes to show that it's gone to Gateshead in his first game of the season. He's started and got a 6.2, which kind of tells you about the calibre of player that he really is. I think he overperformed for us for far too long. Got to get his goal in the Premier League, scoring at every division. So I was very pleased for him to get that record. For me, that's as far as he could have gone with us. I just wanted to get him that record. It's probably not even registered on the game, but yeah, I'm very pleased for him. Other outs, we've got Jake Tyler gone out on loan all season to Ebbsfleet, our affiliate club. He's not really going to get a look in. It does mean that he relinquishes, is that the right word? I think it is, the captaincy. He's now 30 years old, he's still contracted for another 2 years. Like I say, he's the one who I'm going to try and keep for as long as possible. He's gone out on loan for the season, and Brett Carroll has joined him at Ebbsfleet. Young up-and-coming striker with some decent potential, 3-star, maybe 4-star potential. Still looks pretty decent, and he scored quite a few goals last season, 20 goals in 41 appearances, which I didn't think was bad, even though it is only League 2. 2 more to go. Aidan White's in his last year of his no, he's not. He's got another year after this, so he's out on loan at Barnet for the season. Tried to sell him, but no, his wages are too high, nearly £10,000 a week. Bit of a shame to see him slip down the pecking order, because he has been very, very good for us in recent seasons. Just he didn't really get much of a look in last season, making just 6 appearances for us, because Tofolo just played out of his skin when he came in, so I couldn't afford to drop him. And finally, we've just let him go, 60 grand, and I think there's a few bonuses afterwards. Adam King, one of the youngsters we brought in a couple of years ago from Liverpool, not really developed into anything major. At best, you know, when he's fully developed, perhaps a championship standard player, but and that's where he's at now, Exeter in the championship, which is, you know, good on them. That's a pretty decent result for them. It's very similar to like when Yeovil Town was in the championship in my eyes in terms of standard. Right, so we brought in just shy of £4 million. I'm very happy with our business there. We have spent, however, 42.5 million in reply. Some of it is outright, some of it is like so much like 2 million and rest in like installments. We'll start with the ones you already know. We've got Roy Brewer. We've finally managed to get him to come and join permanently. Relatively cheap at 4.5 million if you ask me as well, because he's still deemed a 4-star player. So I'm very happy about that. He's 24 years old now. He will be 25 and stop at the peak of his. He'll be in the prime of his game by the time it gets to February. But like I said, if he's going to be 4-star now, then that means he's at least going to be, if you're challenging for Europe, I would imagine he'll be like a 3-star player, because obviously it aligns with what your targets are. So this season, of course, is relegation again, because you've seen before on the season preview. So I'm very happy to have him again for another season. Just wish his passing stat were a little bit better, but there's not really much I can do about that. You try and get him to do training and start padding, going, hey, it's not beneficial to what I want to do. Well, do it anyway, you prick, you know. But I don't know. Never mind. Right, the next one who you might recognise is Johnny Bates. Didn't play for us last season. Went on loan to Leyton Orient and got released on a free. And I just thought, well, he's not amazing. He's a 2-star player, maybe 2.5 star. One of my best coach, who's got 17 judging potential, says 3-star. But I think it was a better option than maybe Callum Saunders and or Naby. So, which might come as a bit of a surprise. But Saunders was deemed a 1.5 star. Adel Naby was deemed a 1.5 star. Johnny Bate, with a bit of potential to grow as well, was deemed 2-star. And I still think he's got a part to play, really, even though he's had a year away from us. Didn't manage to help Leeds get promoted, so that big gamble paid off. Right, we will start in numeric order in terms of how much people have cost for the rest of them. So we're going to start with this guy, Jay De Silva. Very excited about this guy. He's a real player, of course. He's Welsh. He's actually coming from Aston Villa, but he starts at Chelsea. As you can see, I mean, I don't have to say anything. I mean, just look at those stats, just take them in. The only one that really stands out as a massive weakness is jumping reach, 2, which is pretty poor. But everything else, you know, is very solid. He's got some decent physicals otherwise in terms of your agility, acceleration and pace, even fairly strong as well. And then you've got high determination. Mentally is really, really good. And then technically in the key areas is very good as well. Well, I'd say very good. For this league is probably good, which is, I'd say good is 13. Very good I'd say is about 15, 16, and excellent, like, you know, it goes up as you get what I mean. But yeah, I think he's very solid, a very good option for left back, and he's got a lot of versatility. He can do a job in the middle of the park and central defence, albeit I probably will not ever use him there. He's only 5'5", so that's probably why I will never ever use him there. So a very small player, but when he's on the left and when he's on the wing or full back, I don't think it matters that much or as much. Speaking from experience, because I'm like 5'6", and I play regularly at left back, even though I'm right-footed. But never mind, that's another story. Moving on, another familiar name you might recognise is Karim Rekik, or Rekik, however you want to pronounce it. I'm going to go with Rekik. I wasn't going to sign this guy because I've seen him kicking about other people's teams on other people's saves, and I'm a bit reluctant to sign him. But the only other option really that I needed like a third choice centre back at the very least. It turns out that he's apparently better than Paul McKay. But Danny Kane I didn't think was going to be up to standard this season, and if someone just coming for him, I probably am going to sell him. It all depends though. Apparently Wayne Rooney wants to sign him. I think he's Cardiff manager or something, and he wants to sign Danny Kane. So if he comes in with a bid, then I'll probably accept it. But Rekik only cost us £2.2 million, whereas the other guy was like someone from Chelsea, a young kid, about 20 years old, a lot of potential, fair enough, but it was only deemed as a 2.5 star to start off with. They were wanting like £12 million for him, and I just thought, I've got a ready-made defender here, and we're constantly building to move on to that next level. And I think at this moment in time, it's probably better to get an established defender, and it's 3.5 star, player. He's come from Nottingham Forest in the Championship. He's had 2 seasons there after not faring too well. Looks of things at numerous clubs in the Premier League. But I think he starts actually he starts at Man City, I think, on loan. He got signed by Marseille, and then the rest is history. He's commanded quite a few high fees, but ours isn't the highest. Next in the list, and I apologise that this is quite long, it might be worth just skipping on if that's the sort of thing you want to do. Who we haven't seen is a recently relegated player in the shape of Bruno Miguel Gens Luis. Probably just going to say Luis. I'll probably change his name now. So he's now called Luis because his name is ridiculous. So long Bruno Miguel Gens Luis. I mean, someone just saying Bruno Luis or something like that. But never mind. Yeah, this is him. He's come from Aston Villa. He only spent one season, well, it's half a season there. It looks like he joined in January from Everton. Not really featured that in terms of that much football, but he started us off as a regen, obviously. But he started off at Braga even. Then went to Benfica, and then been out on loan a couple of times, and eventually found his way to Everton. And the things that stuck out, obviously, was his vision, his passing and technique, and I just thought, I've got to have this guy. He's a 3.5 star player. It was 3.5 million. So I thought it's an absolute bargain, an absolute snip. One of the best midfielders we've got now. He's better than Liam Walsh, which he's going to be a more than adequate replacement. But yeah, we're gonna. I'm hoping for big things there. He's the contracts. No one is on higher than 50 grand a week. So You know, I can offer more than that. I think it's about 73 or something I can offer, but I'm trying to keep it, even though it's not, respectable. That's what I'm trying to do, keep it respectable, because 50 grand a week is not respectable, neither is anything higher, to be fair. Next on the list, obviously we've covered Roy Brewer in a lot of glory, because obviously he's a legend. We're going to go into the first of our exciting young talents that we've got from South America. First one being Alexis Castello. Looks very handy. It's 3-star ability. To be fair, I think that's actually gone up. It was 2.5 star, going up to, well, you can see the potential there, 3.5 star. Cost us 5.75 million. Managed to get a work permit. He's 19 years old. He's got 3 caps for Mexico already, and I just think he looks exciting. Got a lot of room to grow. Like I say, he's 19. I think he looks better than Brewer when he was 19. So, you know, I think he can grow to surpass Roy Brewer, and he's, you know, by all accounts, he's behind the pecking order of, you know, of a doer, and I like to think now I've got 3 very strong strikers, even though he's showing a little bit less in terms of current ability, but we'll have to wait and see. We've got 1 game today, by the way, just to throw it out there. Nearly done though. Yeah, so this is him. Like I said, we've signed him from Cruz Azul, 5.75 million. Scored quite a few goals in the last couple of seasons, aged 17 and 18 respectively. So I'm very excited to have him on board. Right, moving on to our next South American. This is a guy I'm really excited about. He is a wonder kid, as you can see there. And as you can see on the screen, you can probably tell why. It's cost us 6.75, did I say that? Yeah, 6.75. Did obviously command a very little fee the season before, but again, 19 years old. Lots of key stats. His physical stats are unreal for 19 years old. His mentals are very strong. These could do a little bit of work here. Off the ball, it could be a little bit better, but his pace and I think more makes up for it. And then look at his technical stats. You know, corners and crossing, very good. His technique's good. At 19 years old, I can only see that getting far, far better. And worth noting, if I go to these, he does have, he doesn't say it on here for some reason, but they had at least a basic understanding of the language. So I was very pleased when signing them that hopefully it won't take them that long. I've sent them on courses anyway, which will last a year, but in pre-season it doesn't seem to have affected them. Right, second to last player is Pedro. He's another, I was going to say he's another South American, but he's not. If you remember me saying before in the January transfer window, it said I was after a defensive midfield player, and I, for love nor money, I could not get a hold of this guy. I just could not afford him, didn't have enough money. He's ended up costing me a lot more than what I was going to pay in terms of wages, because they only wanted 20,000. It's ended up costing me a lot more than what he was going to do. In January he was only wanting about £20,000 a week. Now I'm having to pay 45,000, which is unheard of. But you can probably see why. It's a bit of a gamble in terms of his physical attributes, and he's 24. He's only got 1 more year of progression, but he's in the 3.5 star player, 4-star potential ability, and yeah, I'm hoping he's still going to grow a little bit. Not the quickest, of course, but his tackling's very strong. His defensive duties are very strong, and his decision making is very good. Work rate's very good. Positioning's decent. I'm very pleased to get this guy in finally. I'm very pleased with him. Got him in from Middlesbrough, of course. He was a regen, and it's his first move, so very pleased to get him in. Like I say, championship player, of course, but it wasn't too bad. Finally, Reece Oxford, centre back, quality centre back, 3.5 star player by all accounts. 6'3". He's on 50 grand a week. It's cost us 9 million. Already declined in his value, but I just thought, you know what, next couple of years, like, you know, we're going to be set for at least second choice centre back. Jumping reach 16, strength 16, 17 positioning, work rate 16, you know, anticipation 15, marking 15, all the key stats. Obviously heading could be a little bit better, but I just think, you know, even at 25 he's still got room to grow. Ackle increased his stats a couple of times, so hopefully, like I say, he'll be able to help, you know, perform for us. He's a ball playing defender as well. He's got 13 vision and 13 passing, which I think is very good for a defender, and obviously can play defensive midfielder should we need to change tactic, and push plays a ball winning midfielder, which, to be honest with you, he's not got bad stats for if I highlight them. You marking, tackling, positioning, teamwork, work rate. The only one really that maybe lets him down is bravery and perhaps acceleration, but everything else is well set for that as an emergency ball-winning midfielder. So enough chit-chat and shit-talking. You can see there how well we've done in the pre-season friendlies. I won't go into them too much. You can see them all there. A lot of high-scoring results. Then we had a couple of dodgy ones, such as 2-0 against Jacksonville Armada, and Edsfleet we only just beat 2-1. But yeah, we beat Dortmund 2-0, and then we drew his last game out against Celtic, who we remember last season beat Trouncers 5-2 in pre-season. It's a bit of an improvement to see us draw 0-0, especially when we're away from home, and last season it was at home. Right. Oh, after all that's gone, a good 20 minutes is gone. It's going to have to be try and do a quick live com. We've got Man City away first game of the season now. Memory serves me correctly, I think we've won absolutely every single first game I've played, even as Curzon Ashton. We won every single first game of the season. I could be incorrect in my assumption for my final season back in the Vanarama North after getting relegated, but I know that we won the first game of the season 3-0. I believe it was against, I want to say Braintree, but I can't remember. Anyone who wants to go check it out if you want, it'll be season 4. But yeah, let's get into this game today because that's enough talking tripe. Today's Barclays Premier League clash is brought to you live from the Etihad Stadium. It's Manchester City FC versus Eastleigh FC. Man City go into this game after qualifying last season for the Champions League. They're going to go with Ivkovic in goal, with Galliano at right back and Rodriguez at left back. Stones and Ta make up the centre back pairing, with Kondogbia and Nuri playing in central midfield. Raheem Sterling is now 29 years old and finds himself playing in today's game in the attacking midfield role, with Florenzi on the right of him, Kevin De Bruyne on the left of him, and Abubakar, I hope I didn't butcher that name, playing up top on his own. Eastleigh survived last season in 14th place. Eastleigh last season finished 14th place in the Premier League. They're going to go into this game with Thompson in goal, Emmanuel at right back, debutant De Silva at left back, Reece Oxford, another debutant, partners at McCain central defence. Another debutant, Sanchez, starts on the right, with two more debutants, Pedro and Luis, and in central midfield with Adekanya West on the left. And finally, our final debutant, Castello, partners Brewer up top for today's game. Kind of worrying that there's so many debutants, and that could be a feature in our demise today, which I predict because it's Man City. So we're huge underdogs, so I'm going to start off by saying so. But I'm going to say I calmly think they've got more to come. Right, so we get into this game. Oh, wait on a second. Apologies for that. I was trying to get through the friendlies as quickly as possible. Just want to start by apologising for the loudness of the crowd, because when I reset to defaults last time, it's because I was trying to do a multiplayer game with one of my friends, Peace of Mind. It goes on Twitch and that, you should check him out. It's called Fried Badger 666. Little plug there for you, mate. But yeah, in order to join, for some reason we had to reset to defaults. I don't know why we had to do that, but it just would not connect for whatever reason. So into this game, and we finally have a highlight. And Zanazai, or whatever it's called, he must have come on for an injured player. It seems that way. Thompson's made the save. Who got injured? Raheem Sterling's got injured. Kevin De Bruyne with a corner, swings it towards the back post. Stones seemed to be unchallenged, but then Oxford came out of nowhere. Might change his name, even though he's a real player, might change his name to the Ox, something like that, because he's almost as big as me. Oh, there's a bit of a mix-up there, and Sanchez now, one of the new signings for Eastleigh, trying to capitalise on it, and Emmanuel ticks over. Oh, no way. A gashed leg. He's writhing around in agony. I thought, what are you doing there, Emmanuel? I thought that was the best pass you're ever going to see. But Galliano with a throw finds Nuri, and now it's Zanajai. Galliano in a crossing position, perhaps. Squares it. Florenzi squares it. Abubakar's hit the bar. I felt sure that was going to be a goal. It's worrying signs, though. I mean, we are away from home. We are against, one of the main, runners for the title. So I'm not going to be too despondent if we lose this game. However, we did beat them last season. If you remember, 4-1 at home. Albeit it was after a crash. I remember it like it was just yesterday, because it was a pain in the ass. Good header away though, and now Brewer gets under control now. He's looking for support. He plays the ball forward for Costello, but Rodriguez reads the situation well. Now it's De Bruyne. Plays it forward. He's on his eye. First time ball to Abubakar. Can't say his name. And he wheels away, does a Robbie Keane celebration. He should have a trademark on that and he shouldn't be able to do it, but anyway. Yeah, De Bruyne with his flowing ginger locks. It's on his eye with the first time ball. And poor defending really from Oxford, but you know what? It's basically a new start. It's like what I was saying at the beginning. It's like a new start. A lot of new players. We've still got a couple of players on the bench that are effectively sort of recent signings, i.e. Verlinden. He's on the bench today. Rodriguez with the throw, throws it down. I was going to say down the line, but it's into the middle. It was a long throw. Abubakar finds De Bruyne, who gets away from Sanchez like he wasn't even there. And Gabbiadini coming forward at pace. He's just come on and smashes it high and wide and all handsome. As you can see, we're getting smashed here. We've had no shots, and they've had 10. This is how far away we are. But I have a feeling if this team were more gelled, I think we give them a game, because I think stats-wise, I think we look brilliant. Ball comes in, and Reece Oxford has pushed Digna for some reason. God, they've made 3 changes already. 3 injuries. Where's me mouse icon? There it is. Zanazai's gone off injured now, and now Abubakar has gone off injured. So they've made all 3 substitutions already. There's only 4 minutes gone. I know, obviously, we're going to go 2-0 down. Observe. You know. But yeah. What the hell's Digna doing? What's this all about? I'm a bird. I'm just going to flap away. Gimp. But anyway. Nice spread there, Thompson. Shame it did nothing. Schmuck. Not looking good, but if we keep smashing and breaking the legs, they'll have no players left enough to forfeit and we'll win 3-0. Sounds like a plan to me. I'm actually going to say that, you know, I'm not happy out there because we were awful, but you know what? Instead, I'm going to say aggressively, you know, keen to avenge what happened last time. And that's the best reaction I've ever seen. Come on! One person motivated. Go on, Lewis. You're going to get sent off now, aren't you? You're looking nervous like a gimp. Right. I don't know where the word gimps come from all of a sudden. Right, so let's get into the second half now that all that's sorted. And hopefully we can try and at least win the half. At least to get the second half underway. They're going from right to left in the red shirts. Pedro has it and plays the long ball. It's headed away by Rodriguez. And Stones can clear it away. It's a very strong Man City team, to be fair. But here's a corner, and Sanchez will take it, swings it high into the box. It comes out to Gabbiadini, and that work ethic there from Sanchez is definitely really captivating my interest there. What the hell was that defending? I'm glad that that's gone wide, but that was shocking defending. Rodriguez throws it to... Oh no! Pedro. Trying to use his obviously non-existent neck muscles there to edit it back, but it didn't quite work. And he's a 3-0 down, which is very, very, very disappointing. It's got to be the lack of gelling, I think. I think I've got too many new players in. I think I'll have to maybe make some changes. Let's do that now. In fact, it's early, but I'm going to make all 3. So they've made 3 changes. We've made 3 changes. What's the bets now that I've only just made my changes? We go and get an injury or a red card or something like that, and we go down to 10. Right, Florenzi plays it down the line for Galliano, who's made an overlapping run, and Digna heads over the bar. And this is woeful, boys. Come on. 1 shot all game. I'll just encourage you. Brewer squares it for Jess. Jess, have a go, son. Don't have any shots. I'll just get tackled instead. That's good too. De Silva plays it infield to Lewis. Now he finds Brewer. Turns away from his man, looking for options. He's got 2 on his right. That's 1-2 from with the doer. Oh, Brewer. Nearly my hero. Right, Emmanuel with the throw. Finds Jeffs. Infield it goes to Lewis. Square it goes to Oxford. Plays it wide to Adekanye West, who's had a more impressive half, should I say. That's De Silva to Lewis. Lewis gets by his man and plays it straight to Stones. That's a great pass, has to be said. Now Digna. Oh, Manuel's miscontrolled it. Digna's in 1-on-1 with the keeper. Oh, I thought it gone in. I thought it snuck in again. I thought, hey, up Thompson, 4 shots on target. No, maybe not. 13 shots on target, to be fair to him. Jeffs finds Villingen. Bloody hell, he's let that pass. What's going on? Adua charging forward at pace. Chance to finish, and he's kicked it straight. Ivkovic's, well, I'm going to say his forearm. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. Brewer's got it though and heads it back in. Adua heads it square. McKay. It's got to be a penalty. No. De Silva tackles Nuri, and then Florenzi plays a lovely ball to Digna, but unfortunately it's the end of the highlight. I'm going to complain. Looks like that's going to be it then. 3-0 loss to start off with. A lot of work to be done. I might have to start some of the more settled in players to start off with and phase some of the other players in, because that was not good, to be fair. I know it's Man City. Maybe if they go on and win the league and they go like unbeaten all season, then it's fair enough. Switch off then. I just said, oh, you can't fault you for effort, because at the end of the day you are trying. You know, trying to be a nice guy, but apparently you get penalised for that. Season's bottom of the league. It's a bit of a demoralising result, but to start off with, it's the first time we've been beaten as well in my recent in this save. I think on opening day, a bit disappointing, but you know, we'll see what happens in the coming games. Speaking of which, the next couple of games we are probably going to do is more than likely going to be. I might just go straight through to October, because there's only a couple of games. One's a Capital One, so I'm thinking, you know, get Liverpool, Everton, Arsenal out of the way, and then we've got Tottenham and probably West Ham. Hopefully they're going to join us for the Tottenham West Ham game. Until next time, hopefully I've enjoyed this video. If you have, why not press that like button. If you'd like to see more, feel free to subscribe, and hopefully it hasn't been too long for you. I know it's been a bit of a slog trying to get through all the transfers and everything like that. But yeah, there was some meaningful outs there. That, you know, it's just a bit of a shame, really, that they didn't, you know, progress as much as what I would have hoped. I would love them to have been effective in the Premier League, but last season showed that they weren't. You know, I'm thinking more Adel Naby and Callum Saunders. Until the next episode, I'll see you then. Bye bye.